and the links sent around, and I'll be sure to get the live feed, everything up and running in just a moment, so do bear with me. Hopefully my channel will register the fact I am online. There we are, here it is. I'll get the thumbnail sorted, I will get everything sorted. We've got a full lobby tonight, which is what we always love to see. Okie dokie, I've been given a lovely thumbnail. And where is it? So you guys are more than welcome to skip to the intro. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Welcome to the stream, whoever has just joined us. It's a pleasure to have you. And I need to go to... No, I'll just do it on my phone. Actually, no, I'll do it from here, because it's easier. I can't be bothered to get my phone up. Copy. Link copied. I'll go to the Discord. Hopefully I can get it up quickly so I can start the intro and not be 50 minutes behind on getting going. We'll have to hope, eh? And here, and where won't the link get lost? Is there a stream this week? Of course there is, Ethan. Of course there is. There's a stream every week. Oh, it helps if I spell everyone, so it actually adds them all. There we are. Right, that's sorted, that's sorted. Let's get this up. And no, that's my chair squeaking before anyone says anything. So, yeah. So we have got 3 people in. Lovely to have you all here. It's a pleasure to be able to bring you the streams. And we'll be getting going. Five people in. Pleasure to have you all. So we have got full 20 drivers in. Not entirely sure in terms of when we're going to get going, but we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. I will keep my eye on. Remember to like the stream, of course. You're not massively obliged to, but it'd be nice to have you. But nonetheless, we are getting ready to go, I'm sure. So, hey there everyone, and welcome back to APPF1, and back of course for round 7 of the Sunday Night Sprint Championships, sponsored of course by TC Focus. A massive thank you to him, a brilliant car photographer on Instagram who deserves all the attention in the world. So after last week's shenanigans, seeing Paus back on the podium in Suzuka, and a controversial glitch in Spa, we are back and travelling across to Asia for the Singaporean and Russian Grand Prix. So first up, we go under the lights in Singapore, a prestigious and outright beautiful spectacle of the season. We've seen strategical controversy like back in 2019 with Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel. Nonetheless, it is a very tough circuit, the longest in terms of time and the longest in terms of the amount of corners, 23 in fact. It'll certainly be a challenge, 5.063 kilometres and 23 corners to negotiate a lap under the glimmers of Marina Bay. A race lap record of a 1:41.905, set of course actually by Kevin Magnussen, interestingly enough, who is going to see the fireworks and blazes first. Let's just find out. We've got a one-shot quali and a 25% race ahead of us, of course, which is then reversed to set the grid for the next race. But we don't have to worry about any of that just yet. We've got a qualifying session and a race to get through now. Let's see how it pans out. Just waiting for everyone to load in, and then we can get underway under the lights of Singapore. A really, really beautiful circuit. It's a street circuit and very tough to overtake, but at least it looks good, right? That's the main thing. At least it looks pretty. And Moosey's here, no surprise at all. So, despite the humidity in Singapore, it is looking pretty dry. So no sudden changes in weather like we see at Malaysia or other Southeast Asian countries. I think Singapore is. I take geography, I should know, but I don't. I think it's near that region. But nonetheless, we're just waiting for everyone to put their setups on, get them onto the track. And, well, it's a long race. You want to have the tyre deg available to you. You want to have the tyres under you. You don't want to be slipping and sliding. But nonetheless, here goes Ghost then, setting up a hot lap, coming on to the back straight, or the pit straight, coming into turn 1. We've seen Ghost put on some remarkable quali laps, full commitment, bit wide through turn 1 and 2, which leads into 3. Using that curve on the inside, yeah, down in 15th place, even after turn 1, 2 and 3. He's got the whole rest of the lap to get it done though. Coming in to turn 5, quick flick to the right and get as close to that outside wall as you can. DRS wide open, of course, and he needs to be really close to these walls. Make sure he maximises every tiny bit of circuit he can get, coming down into the braking of turn 7, which leads into turn 8, where we saw Grosjean and Russell crash back in 2019. I believe it was this corner anyway. And then that leads into, I believe, what to be turn 8. Is a very tricky corner. He's tapped the wall a little bit, has Ghost, so not the best first couple of sectors for Ghost. Really have to flick it into the loop, and then once again full commitment, have to use that inside curb, but didn't quite do that straight line, and brake as soon as you're in a straight line for this under the bridge hairpin that leads back onto this back straight. Vardy currently sits provisional pole ahead of Ted, and Ghost, with a great launch off the hairpin, propels himself up into the top 3, and Sonic has retired. Purple to the middle sector goes the Williams of Ghost, and he's really charging for his teammate and Davila. We've not seen pretty much anyone else in the top 3 qualifying other than the 2 Williams and the Haas driver. Where's Palsey's in P8 as well, coming in to the last couple of chicanes under the bridge and under the lights, and this is going to be rounding off the lap. Who's going to come out in pole position? It's been a rough lap for Ghost. He's really hooked up the middle and last sector though, using all of the track, the full extent. Davila takes pole. Who is it going to be as we cross the line? It's going to be very close indeed, but Davila takes it ahead of Vardy and then further ahead of Ghost, but he didn't get it easy. Gremlin was so close to the back of Ghost there, and he showed so much potential and so much pace last week, even on his debut. And, well, as long as he can hook it up for the next 13 laps or so, he should be good. But such a close race for pole. Less than 300ths of a second between first and second at the top, at the front row. Ghost and Gremlin only less than 300ths of a second apart as well. But Ted in P5, knowing like P6, I believe he's making his debut tonight. Taylor in P7, joining us once again with Paus P8. Bluey P9 and Starry P10, the Australian, definitely putting on a good performance tonight. Hephaestus in P11, Wayne P12, QB P13, Ginger Prince 14th, S-Man 15th, Ethan disqualified, Sumo disqualified, the championship leader of Scott was disqualified, Sonic in P19, and Tyr also disqualified from the race. So 5 retirees from this qualifying session, definitely less than ideal, but they've got a long race to get themselves back up. And don't forget, of course, the reverse grid sprint. Go Dave, yeah, definitely go Dave. He's definitely putting an end to this Williams dominance. Let's hope he can get a good launch off the lights, because that is the most important thing under Singapore. You need a good launch. It's a short long-ish run to turn 1. Not the longest run in the world, and it's a very tight corner, but it does cut back on itself quite vigorously. You go from the inside to turn 1, to the outside of turn 2, back to the inside of turn 3, to the outside of turn 4. It's very, very tricky stuff here at Singapore, but they can do it. It's dry, equal playing field, same as quali. Go out there, balls to the wall, get it done, come in for your set of tyres, go to the end. It's going to be very hard racing, and I'm sure the Williams will not be very happy seeing a Haas overthrow them on the top step. They want to get that Constructors' Championship. They want to lead the Drivers' Championship themselves. It's very close between Ghost, Davila, I believe Vardy, and Scott as well, the championship leader. But we go green for the formation lap. And Davila is going to lead us ahead of that. Paul Gobbling, good luck. Ethan, son, give it, son. Of course, he needs to give it some. He's starting, where is Ethan starting? P16. He's got a long way to get himself back up the field, but we've seen him make some remarkable overtakes, especially in the reverse grid race. So he's going to be doing well, I'm sure. Just needs to keep his nose clean, keep it consistent, not make too many mistakes, and just keep his nose out of damage, his nose out of the wall. That would certainly help. So we have Davila rounding the last couple of corners. Sorry for that brief interruption there, but he is backing everyone up. You can see him just weaving around a little bit like a snake to get the tyres warmed up, to get everything up to temperature before he lines up on the grid ahead of 5 red lights. He's got Vardy, he's got Ghost, he's got Gremlin right behind him, all eager to make the most of a good start. And Dave, he's got all the pressure on him. He's in the perfect position for the race win. Let's just see if he can convert it from pole to the win. Track position's very important around Singapore. It looks like we're going to be in store for a great race ahead of us under the lights of Singapore. Don't forget, tonight's race sponsored by TC Focus, a great car photographer. Go follow him on Instagram. He deserves all the attention in the world. But here we go then, everyone's lined up. We've got the green flag wave. This is where the adrenaline's running. We go to the 5 red lights ahead of Singapore, and we're underway in racing, and the pole setter gets away well. Vardy trying to get alongside. He has gotten alongside coming into turn 1. They're going to be 3 abreast into turn 1. Dave really eager to hang on, and that's Vardy spun round. Vardy has been spun round. The man in P2 very eager to hang on to his position, has been spun round, and the Williams, his other Williams teammate, has been really hang to dry. So Gremlin has gotten through. The McLaren of Going Light has also gotten through. So Vardy, very big victim of a turn 1 incident, and Dave very eager to hang on to it. Here goes Ghost looking to reclaim that P3 position. He goes to the inside. It'll be the outside for that first King of the Right, but it'll be the inside for this left. Can he get it done? The McLaren gives him all the space in the world, drives himself off the track, and there goes back up the inside and up into the top 3 once again. There's Ted putting the pressure on the McLaren as well, who got off to such a good start, but it needs to keep that momentum and keep it rolling towards the end of the race. 6 tenths apart is pretty much most of the field. Ted looking to go up to the inside into the loop, but can't quite convert, and that's probably for the best. So Vardy not had the most ideal start. It looks like he's got Scott right behind him for company on the medium tyres, the only man on the medium tyres. So interesting strategy choice from Scott there. But Ted, can he get through? He's not got his ERS enabled, so he's going to sit back and just work with him. And Gremlin looking very punchy in these earlier stages of the race. Dave losing all of his ERS as it stands, and so is Gremlin. But Ghost, as per usual, keeping it chilled, he's keeping it composed, and he's keeping his ERS intact so he can use it if he needs to defend or launch an assault. Taylor being given a 3-second time penalty as well. That's certainly going to be a pain in the backside towards the end of the race, and very easy to pick up penalties here at Singapore. Gremlin, some very wide sequence of corners there. That's really going to cost him the momentum and allow Davila to extend his lead at the front and let Ghost close up. This is Davila's ideal situation. Is that Gremlin out of the race, or is it just a timing glitch? No, that is just him being ghosted out and the timing glitch kicking in, unfortunately. He's been blue flagged. I'm not entirely sure what's been going on. Have we got anything going on further down the field? We've got Ethan already up into P7. Not entirely sure if this is correct, but nonetheless, that's Wayne out of the session as well into turn 2. That's interesting. Not a place you typically see things happen, but and we've got a massive timing glitch here. This is less than ideal for sure, but Dave still definitely leads the way ahead of Gremlin and ahead of Ghost. So the top 3 definitely the main talking point. And the mother's watching, so come on Ethan, we need you to do well, we need you to be up there. So Ethan definitely needing to impress, same as House, because I'm sure his mum and dad are tuning into the stream tonight as well. Davila really under pressure from Gremlin now, who's closed up, he's used his ERS, he's all over the back, and Davila, you can see, pushing the limits of the car with that tiny little lock up there. We're on lap 3, or lap 2 of 15 I should say. We're not quite onto lap 3 just yet. And purple to the middle sector goes Gremlin, so he's showing he's got the pace. QB somehow leading the race. Didn't know he had a sudden burst of pace towards the front. And a very squeaky door once again. Needs some WD-40, but we won't talk about that at all. Might need to rub like a wet trout or something on it to try and lubricate it a little bit, but who knows, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But through the final chicane goes Ghost and Gremlin all over the back. They are literally bumper to bumper to bumper. You couldn't be closer than this for the top 3 fight. They are so close. Evil Mum Lady, yep, knew she'd be watching. Gremlin setting the fastest lap. Can he get it to the inside of turn 1? He's looking, he sends it. Bit of contact between the two. He's managed to send them wide. Davila gives him the room. There's Ghost looking to the outside as well, but can't quite convert it into a move. This is a 3-way fight for the race lead. You couldn't ask for more. And there's the McLaren of Knowing Light and the Red Bull of Ted, both going to be looking to get onto the back of this as it progresses. You fucking Gremlin in the DRS. I shouldn't have pronounced his full name there. Apologies for that if there is any children watching. But into this corner, this left-hander that is very tricky to get right. It is certainly very tricky to get right into turn 8. They are so close. Ghost pushing Gremlin through turn 8 and leading into turn 9, which leads into the loop, which is a very tricky set of corners. You have to be so committed. And there's the Knowing Lights. There's Ted and Taylor not too far back off. So we're going to be treated to a 6-way fight for the race lead. This could get very interesting. And Scott, to my knowledge, has managed to make... Oh no, very wide for the AlphaTauri of Gremlin, and Ghost going to swoop around the outside there, make the most of some astonishing late breaks. Wow. I wish we could see a replay of that because I just missed it. I was looking at the tower and he'd sent it around the outside under the bridge, late on the brakes, as late as you dare on the brakes, and getting the most of a compromised AlphaTauri, and that is a great way to get himself back up into the top 2. And into the final couple of chicanes. Davila still controlling the race, still at the front. Ted on the back of the McLaren, so we look like we're going to have a nice little battle for P4. He's sandwiched in between the two McLarens. He's a Red Bull sandwich amongst the McLaren bread, but he's got the DRS, he's got the ERS. Can he get it to the inside? Yes, he can. Send it late on the brakes. Knowing Lights very committed to hang on to P4. They want to work together really if they want any chance of catching the top 4. They need to capitalize off any mistakes they possibly can, because if they don't, they're going to be having a tough time keeping with the front runners. They just have such good pace and they need to make the most of any battling. Ghost still within the DRS, he's still got the ERS. Davila completely out of ERS, needs to save as much as he can through this infield section. Ted, Taylor, and yeah, it looks like the McLaren is backing Ted up into his teammates so they can both get into the top 5. Taylor, we've seen with some astonishing pace, took it to the front runners last week in Suzuka. Let's see if he can take it to the front runners once again under the lights in Singapore. Gremlin still on the back of Ghost, looking to get vengeance for what was a complete and utter mugging into turn, I believe, turn 13, I think this is turn 13. Yep, they are so late on the brakes, and Ghost just managed to get it around the outside. I don't even know if that was an intentional move, but it worked, and he just managed to get it around the outside. Astonishing stuff from the Williams on his bid to chase after Davila. We've seen Ghost on the top step numerous times this season already. We've had 14 races, 7 rounds, and he's been on top for quite a few of them, it must be said, at least on the podium, and he's definitely the star of the field. Scott hanging on to the lead of the championship low after Ghost's misfortunes, numerous misfortunes, it must be said. Sliding, coming out of turn 19, I believe, into 20 and 21, which leads into 22 and 23. And Davila into the pit lane, the first of the front runners to react. So he's going for the proactive stance in this race. He's going for the proactive strategy. He's going to the mediums. He's going to take those mediums 10 laps to the end of the race, which you'd hope, hopefully he doesn't come out in traffic, because that would be a nightmare for him, because Gremlin, knowing like Ted, Taylor could all get through if he gets held up in traffic. All he has to lose is what, 2.5 seconds in the traffic, and he will lose 5 positions. So Davila, maybe not with the smartest strategy move. Where's he going to come out? He has come out in clean air, so no worries at all. That is a very early stop for sure, Aaron. So Davila with very much a proactive stance. He may have not been confident in his tyre deck. We've not got many battles. We've got Hephaestus on the back of Bluey for P6, the Racing Point and the Ferrari. Looking to get through. Not much happening at the front. We've got Ted on the back of Knowing Light. Still, we'll have to keep an eye on the map. They're so close at the front. The top 5 separated by merely a couple of car lengths. But for Davila's sake, he's come out in clear air, so he can warm up those mediums. He can get those mediums pushing early and not have to worry about fighting his way through the field or what have you. Oh, big slide from Hephaestus. That could put him under pressure from the Renault of Sumo, who is definitely going to be looking to get himself up. We've got Gremlin still on the back of Ghost. These guys probably just working with each other. Ghost using a lot of ERS compared to what he usually does, but so is Gremlin, so is Knowing, and so has Ted, has Dave. Taylor, more of an insult to Taylor than anything, or well, more of an insult to Dave, I should say. Do not want to be compared to Mark Taylor in any way, shape or form. But Ghost and Gremlin both going to respond on the next lap. Do not want to risk the undercut. Of course, with them being on their worn tyres, they do not want to be losing any more time. It looks like they're all going to funnel their way into the pits. McLaren might have to double stack. Has Taylor got the gap? Has Taylor got the gap in order to not double stack with his teammate? It's going to be close. He's not got the gap, so he is going to have to double stack. That's less than ideal for Taylor, who could lose a lot of positions. Yes, indeed, he's going to lose a lot of positions. There's Scott up into P3 with the medium tyres, still sticking with the likes of Vardy, who's on the sauce. So very, very good stuff, and not ideal for Mark Taylor at all. Maybe we jinxed him with the insult. Who knows? But yeah. Where's Taylor? There he is. He's behind the Renault. He's behind the Racing Point. He's come out a long way off where he would like to be, certainly. Come on, England. Yeah, Ethan needs to get his finger out and push. He's pit. He's on the medium, so he is in a good position still to take some points after maybe some more pit. Maybe maximum probably of 2 or 3 if he's lucky. He needs to get the most on pure merit. We've got Palfs down in P13. He has pit, so could be in a shout for the top 10. Maybe Singapore not his most strong suited circuit, but so far being treated to a pretty nice race under the lights. Sumo, Hephaestus and Palfs all in a nice little train here for P13, or well P11 I should say, the battle for P11, 12 and 13. Davila on the back of S-Man, so he has managed to come out. S-Man just completely driving out of the way of Davila there, doesn't even want to fight that one. Whether that was an intentional move out of the way or not, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, you can see how much Davila's gained in that clear air and the fresh mediums, but Ghost is not having any of it. He's going purple quickly, and he's making that ground up. He's got 2.8 seconds to the likes of Davila. He needs to clear S-Man quickly. Can he get past S-Man quickly? Doesn't want to make any rash judgments. S-Man goes in deep. Can go set up a cutback into the chicane. Yes, he does. He brakes late, brakes early, gets the cutback up the inside. Is S-Man going to fight it? Yes, he is, but it's going to be all in vain. And Ghost, the lion, is unleashed. He's uncaged, and he's after Davila. Tear into the pits, the provisional race leader. Similar to how Giovinazzi led a race in Singapore in 2019. Not for long, had to pit. But yeah, Ghost on the charge. He's going after Davila. 3.2 seconds is the gap. Ted on the back of Knowing Light has Palfs gotten past Sumo. No, it looks like he's fallen off a little bit. Sumo on the back of Hephaestus though, putting the pressure on. Down a couple of gears to get the rotation and get on the back. But it looks as though the top 7 really has been shaken up after this, after the pit stops. Looks like tragedy played a massive role in tonight's proceedings. Davila closing up to Scott and Vardy, who's still yet to pit, so they're going very long, maybe hoping to just go longer to hope for a safety car. Who knows? Someone might crash. Scott and Vardy could come out in the lead. We have to wait. We have to know. Aaron, yeah, definitely gives you guys, or well, us guys, I should say, a less of a headache in the stewarding box. But yeah, they're giving each other a lot of space. There's not been many incidents whatsoever. And under the tunnel, into the hairpin, Ted on the back of Knowing Light. He's got the DRS wide open. He's got the ERS. Can Ted get the move done on the Red Bull? Hopefully a battle we'll be seeing in real life. Look into the inside. Not quite close enough to get past, and into the top 6 is Ted. We've got Davila on the back of Scott, who's on the back of Vardy now. The mediums coming into their own compared to the softs. Davila all over the back of Scott though. Maybe Scott could use Davila to open the gateway to get past Vardy. That's certainly what I would do, is let Davila through on the straight. Don't fight it at all and use him as a tool to get past Vardy, because that's who Scott's racing as it stands. No one else. But Ghost, after Davila's little battle with Scott, has definitely closed up a lot. There's Davila to the inside of Scott, up the inside for a provisional P2, maybe a bit of contact, has to avert to the inside and cut, and there's Ghost, moses his way through and just swoops through the middle, threads the needle between the both of them, and now he's on the back of his teammates. Scott still needs to pit, and he's fighting the likes of Davila very hard, but very rightly so. Here's Ghost in the DRS of his teammate, surely not going to fight it too hard. Vardy to the inside to lift off and let his teammate through, and there is Ghost back into the race lead and where he deserves to be. And Davila very much caught up. There goes Gremlin looking to the inside of Davila. This is all getting a battle with Vardy. Does not want to concede to Davila. He wants to focus on his own battle, and Davila having to adhere to off the track. There goes Davila looking to the inside of the loop. Going to be an audacious send. Scott gives him space, drives himself off the track. There goes Gremlin back up the inside. Nearly gets his front wing swooped off, but luckily manages to do that. Bit of contact between the Alpha Tower. Taps the wall on his way through. Davila on the back of Vardy now once again, and Vardy's job in this scenario is to back Davila up and hope he can hang off the charging Haas and let his teammate go. He's got a 3-second gap as it stands. So close is Davila, and there's Gremlin getting himself past Scott, who's under pressure from Knowing Light once again. So Scott really just becoming a mobile chicane, and he's picked up some damage as well for his troubles. Davila needing to get past Vardy, but it's so tricky. This is an ideal scenario for Ghost. This is what Ghost would have wanted, is that Vardy backs up Davila, feeds him to the sharks of Gremlin, and there goes Davila to the inside of Vardy, who's going to concede that one. There goes Gremlin up the inside, but he's going to have a nice little run on Davila as well. Overtake, DRS to the inside of turn 1. This is for P2. Can he get it done to the inside like they did a lap previously? Can he get it done? Davila leaves him to hang to dry around the outside. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate the kind words. And Vardy witnessing this battle. He's got a front row seat to it all. But Gremlin's going to have another try. He's got DRS. He's a lot closer. In slipstream, he's got a little bit of energy recovery system left. He's not going to use it all. He's going to use it now to get the momentum once it's built up. And to the inside, side by side they go once again for P2. They've all got a front row seat. Around the outside goes Davila, still side by side at Singapore, but Gremlin hangs on the racing line. There goes Davila back up the inside, still side by side at Singapore, but Gremlin claiming the outside lane. And very good stuff then from them two. But Gremlin using his pace, using his grip, and around the outside he goes on a compromised Davila. And Aaron Williams play the game nicely. They do indeed. They definitely work well as a team, and you can understand why they're leading the Constructors' Championship, as Ethan picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. And Davila, after being on pole position, has really fell backwards in the race through no fault of his own, just being caught up in traffic and whatnot. Really is less than ideal. There's the McLaren looking to get past a compromised Vardy. He hasn't really got anyone to fight and hold up now, but he's still going to fight it around the outside and allow Ted to have a look at Knowing Light. This is now the opportunity he needs. Going to back out of that one though and think better of going to the outside of that chicane. Definitely a great idea, to be completely honest. Bluey now closing up to the back. Where has Scott come out? He's on the softs. And the softs to the end of the race, they're going to have a massive pace advantage compared to the rest of the field. So he could still be in good for a shout at a better position. We'll have to wait and see. Taylor, after a compromised pit stop, has been falling into the clutches of Hephaestus and has had to pit again, I believe. Vardy's tyres must be mullered. Indeed, He must have realised that he was out of this race and just wanted to help his teammates secure the victory. Into the pits he comes though, and he's going to be a long way back after losing a lot of time fighting. But he's done his teammate a favour, and that is the main thing. That's what the plan was, I'm sure, in the Williams garage. Taylor on the back of Hephaestus. We're in 10 of 15. Into turn 5, really committed his mark. Really got a through, but loses out on the overtake and able to try and stay with the racing point, but can't quite get it done on this particular occasion. Also Ted on the back and knowing, like, is he actually going to get the move done this time round? Hey, teamwork in these championships, exactly. In such an unpredictable championship, you have to be on the ball. You have to be working together to win as a team. And, well, they're doing a great job. Despite having a championship battle of their own, they know when to pick their fights, when to work together. And it's great to see between Ghost and Vardy. They are great teammates and worthy champions if they can hold on to it, and probably one of them going to win the championship as well. But Scott still hanging on there, going to score minimal points in this race, which is going to be less than ideal. Ted on the back and knowing, like, can he get through on this particular occasion? Not quite. Powers is definitely doing a great job. Sort of a quiet race, just in 8th place. He's got Hephaestus and Taylor charging after him though. Not back. He's got 3.5 seconds to Sumo in front. More of just a quiet race, driving it round for Powers. Maybe Singapore isn't his most fond circuit, but he's still delivering those points when Davla's fighting at the front, and that's exactly what you want from Powers. He's on the podium when he's got the pace. He's scoring points when he particularly hasn't got the pace, and just an all-round consistent driver, it must be said. Taylor on the back of Hephaestus. Gremlin picking up a 3-second penalty, interestingly enough, but got 3 seconds to the back of Davila, so maybe just has enough to hang on to stay in front. But this is Davila's calling. This is his lucky star, and he needs to stay within 3 seconds. He's got 5 laps to stay with it. Bit of contact between Taylor and Hephaestus, both managing to carry on as if it was nothing. Luckily between the two, no damage from Mark either, no carbon fibre going flying off. There's Sumo getting past Bluey as well further up. Can Taylor convert the move on Hephaestus? Not quite into that particular corner of, I believe, turn 7. And you're right, Moosey, a lot of penalties certainly going on here, which certainly is less than ideal, but it is very easy to do at Singapore. Quite ironically so, you think with walls everywhere it's quite hard to cut, but it's in fact avoiding the walls is what you cut, because you turn out of the corner, you end up going wide, you have to then avoid the barrier, and you stupidly cut. Like this one here, I believe you can cut that bit on the left hand side. Everyone abuses it, but you can actually cut it and get a warning for it. And here as well, there's a bit of runoff. That's a warning. That could be a warning as well if you cut that too much. There's a lot of places to get warnings, so it is very easy to do and very understandable. But Ghost, Davila, Sumo, Hephaestus, QB and Scott all keeping it clean, all staying with it tonight. Into turn 23. Take your handbrake off. He needs to unhook the caravan. He's got a caravan on the back. He just needs to unhook it and he'll be flying. Into turn 1 goes Ted, and knowing, like this too, have been going at it for the last 12 laps. Ted with a 3-second time penalty, though that's definitely going to be less than ideal for the Red Bull. Let's have a quick look at his penalty situation. 6 seconds he needs to get through and get 3 seconds, which is definitely less than ideal. But Ted ready to pick up the Sumo ready to pick up the pieces of both. He can keep it clean for the next lap. Hephaestus now behind Taylor, so Taylor finally getting his way through, which is definitely what he'd like to do. Has he nicked our caravan? I presume so. He's gone on holiday to Singapore and forgot to take it off for the race. It's the only logical scenario in my head, I'll be completely honest. But yeah, Ted's still on the back and knowing, like, hopefully give us a bit of a show under the lights of Singapore, just for the racing, but also just for the aesthetic of Singapore. The lights, the fireworks, all of that does look like a pretty race. It does deliver sometimes, maybe not necessarily with on-track action, but with strategical controversy like we saw back in 2019, with interesting helmet designs like we saw with Sebastian Vettel back in his Red Bull days. Everyone loves Singapore. It's a very tough circuit. Good steady drive by Paus, maybe a bit biased, but nonetheless I have to agree, and I'm sure everyone else would. Paus keeping it clean, keeping his nose clean, and just driving around with the new number bed of 42. So just keeping his nose clean, driving around in his own world, keeping it consistent, and that's all you could really ask for Paus. as I did allude to a little bit earlier. Into turn 1, Knowing Light managed to pull a gap on Ted. That bit there through turn 2 is a very easy place to cut, and Ted has been showing us that constantly. It's very easy to cut. You ride over that sausage a little bit too much, and you do end up cutting, unfortunately. Scott with a 3-second penalty, one of the only ones to keep it clean, now fallen. Yeah, don't speak too soon. We've seen with Paus that he can go unexpectedly, but we don't talk about that. We will carry on. He's only got a couple more laps to go, and he needs to keep it clean. Ted really pushing Knowing Light through this middle sector, all over the back of him, and looking very eager to get his way through. He's had such good pace all race compared to Knowing Light, but Knowing Light's just made that McLaren diffuser so wide, and Ted just can't find a way through. Maybe under the bridge, maybe where we saw Massa sideways to overtake. To the outside, going to try and set up a cutback. Knowing Light parking it very nicely though, and Ted not able to get the drive coming off the corner. He's got the DRS, he's got the overtake, but he hasn't got a lot to do so, and that's very unfortunate because he's just losing time. Sumo closing up as well with his medium tyres, slowly, ever so slowly chipping away at the top 4 of his Sumo, and that'll be a great result if he can hang on to it. Kept his nose clean, no incidents whatsoever, and just managed to drive his way up to the top 4. On to the penultimate lap of the race now, lap 14 of 15. Still the fight for P4 very much on, coming into the final couple of corners, 22, 23. Very wide, and he needs to just get the drive off these important corners, the likes of, turn 23, turn 5, turn 13 as well, I believe. He needs to get the drive off those corners so he can have the run into the braking zones. Otherwise, it's all good being quick through these corners, but that's not going to help you behind a car. He needs to be quick off here, and Knowing Light is just rapid off the corners. And that is really halting Ted's advance because he doesn't have enough time to build back up the momentum that he's lost coming off the corner. See, he closes up through here. Can he look for a dive? He's going to look. Is he going to get it done? Knowing Light around the outside leaves him a bit of space, but Ted, you can tell, is now getting very desperate to stay in front of Knowing Light. Getting in front of Knowing Light, I should say. He hasn't actually been in front of him. But Sumo now joining the party, so Knowing Light's job of feeding him to the Sharks very much working, and he's defending. He's driving his own race, keeping it chill in P4. As it stands, P5 in turn 13. This is where Ted set up a good exit. Has he slightly bit better? Knowing Light again with a good launch. It's a lot better, but the gap is still maintaining between the two, even with DRS and overtake. Maybe he should just bite the bullet, save for a bit, and not use as much when he doesn't need to. Just save through here, save the ERS, and then use it all at once to get through. That is probably his best bet, but we are nearly onto the final lap, and as Ghost crosses the line, we are on to the final lap of the race, and probably a lap and a quarter for these guys. Chucking it through the last couple of corners. And into 22, this is still the fight, and it's very much on. Sumo falling off a little bit, and Ted still doesn't have the gap, still doesn't have the momentum to pass him. Coming on into turn 1, he needs to set it up for turn 5. He's running out of opportunities, he's running out of opportunities very quickly. Ethan still P12, that's a good result for Ethan, it must be said. He does do some very good results, and P12 is definitely one of them. There's Ted, he's got a much better exit offer there. Slipstream and DRS, is it enough though? He's going to run out of time to the inside. No, not quite going to be close enough. So it has to wait, maybe set it up into turn 8 once again. Can't quite do that as well, so close. Maybe keep it tight to the inside, Ted. Nope. And Knowing Light hanging on brilliantly. Ted with so much pressure. He's got now Sumo driving up to the back of him as well. Paus on the back of Bluey as well. Can he get this done a little bit easier than Ted perhaps? Down into the run into turn 14. We'll have to wait and see. He's definitely got a chance at P7. And where is Ghost on track? He's coming through that final chicane. Paus needs a good launch. Ted hasn't been able to get through. He's got overtake. He's got DRS. Is it enough into turn 14? It doesn't look like it's going to be enough out of opportunities. He can definitely get it done. What about penalties? Can he get it done on penalties? No, he can't. Taylor on the back of him as well. But Ghost is your race winner. He's the one to see the fireworks and blaze at the finish line. Then again is going to come across in P2. Great race from him, and Davler from pole into P2 after Gremlin's penalty. So he managed to hang on just about to do that just about. So Gremlin's still on the podium, his first podium. There goes Knowing Light across the line, and Sumo jumps the pair up into the top 4. Bluey hung on from Palfs and Taylor all over the back of him. P7, 8 and 9 has been decided. Here comes the Faceless to round off the top 10 under the lights, and he's up into P9 after Taylor's penalties. Tier P11, nice drive. Ethan under pressure from Vardy, who was spun round at the start, across the line in P12. P13 at the flag. Yeah, Paul, very good job from Ethan. He's got the reverse grid race yet to go, so could still be pretty interesting. QB and Sonic on the run to the line. Maybe always capped him all, and there goes QB into the wall across the line, and Sonic manages to crawl across into P16, but QB crosses the line and takes 15th after penalties. Nonetheless, and Starry, the Australian, into P7, P10. That was remarkable, man. Very, very well done. Very well deserved as well. Good stuff. Just kept it quiet, kept it into P4. Very good job. And you can see the Williams once again taking the top step of the podium. Haas joining them up there. But an AlphaTauri there. Haven't seen that since probably Bitmappy's small glimmer of hope to the podium. Disaster for Scott. Yeah, I'm sure it was, man. That alternate strategy didn't really work well for you, unfortunately. But after 15 laps of hardcore racing, Ghost takes the win ahead of Davila and Gremlin rounding off the top 3. Sumo with a good drive from 17th to 4th. Knowing Light 5th. Ted 6th, Bluey 7th and Palfs 8th. Her Faceless P9, Taylor P10 and Tier P11. Vardy in P12, a very tough race, and Ethan P13. Scott, the championship leader, probably not for long after Singapore, down in P14. That's got some massive championship implications there. QB 15th, Sonic 16th, Starry 17th, S-Man 18th, Ginger Prince 19th, and Wayne the lone DNF from this race. Yeah, Harvey, man, that was a good drive, a very good drive, and finally converting the pace you showed last week. It was a great drive. You just missed out on P2, but P3 still a very good result. Ah, 2.8. That is gutting. Unlucky, man. But, you know, still, you've got the pace. Definitely. So just going to be a brief little intervention? I believe so anyway. Between races, so they're just going to sort out the grid. And while I have this amazing opportunity, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to the sponsor of the Sunday night streams. Of course, that is TC Focus, who is an incredible guy. He makes some incredible photos. He takes a lot of pictures of some classic cars, and yeah, he's just a great photographer. Very clean, very high quality pictures, and deserves all of the recognition he deserves. Oh, deserves all the recognition he gets. He deserves a lot more because yeah, these are just some incredible photos. So go follow him on Instagram, TC_focus, and do make sure to go check out his content. Give him a like, give him some supporting feedback, some messages to say well done, anything of the sort. And I'm sure he'll really appreciate that because, well, he's had the passion for a while, and does specialise in classic cars, but he does a lot of other stuff as well, just cars in general, and you can't fault that at all. But it looks like we are going to be getting underway very shortly. So now, after a thrilling opening race, we travel to the Federation of Russia and to the Winter Olympic Park of Sochi for the Sochi Autodrome. Interestingly, in fact, it's the first track I ever commentated on with APPF1. Both myself and the community have come a long way in that short space of time. I believe it was just before Christmas I became the commentator for the Sunday night sprint races, and in that short, probably 3 months or so, we've both come a long way in terms of growth and progress. But nonetheless, we go to the reverse grid race, and overtaken could indeed be in abundance with 2 DRS zones and overtaken opportunities around the circuit. I'm sure we are definitely in for a good one. 5.8 kilometers, 18 turns, and a race lap record of a 1:35.761. Will we see someone other than a Williams win tonight? 14 laps ahead to certainly find out. And reverse grid race, so the Williams are going to be starting towards the back. Actually, I stand corrected, Vardy will be starting towards the front. So, could be interesting to see where he ends up, and I will just quickly get a track map up so I can name the corner names. It would definitely help. There it is. Just while we wait for everyone to load in. Seems good. Awesome. Great stuff. So the first Grand Prix back in 2014. Definitely played host to some interesting races. Not the most thrilling. We saw the famous bring back the V12s quote back in 2019. Did have a race in Russia in 2020. I'm pretty sure. I'm not. Yes, we did. We did. It was Lewis Hamilton just missed out on Q2. Oh no, nearly missed out on Q2, but just about managed to pull it out of the bag. But nonetheless, we do go green for the formation lap. Yep, smacked into the wall like a dummy. We don't talk about that. was just trying to negotiate his way right off to the left there, where you can see the boards. That's where they're meant to rejoin. Smacked into that wall, grazed across the track. Paus, keep with those positive waves and driving well. His first race on a wheel was at Russia, because I remember commentating on it. His first race on a wheel was in Russia. Be interesting to see his progress since then, see how competitive he is now compared to where he was now. Try to keep your wings as sun. Well, the wings actually have an opposite effect. I'm sorry to sound like a nerd, they actually have an opposite effect in Formula 1. They're meant to keep you on the ground rather than flying up. If they were turned upside down, they would technically generate lift. Because if they create downforce, they flip them back upside down with... I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to get an aerodynamic scientist, person, engineer, that's the word. But yeah, nonetheless, I really do wish Codemasters would put the corner numbers on that track map, so it's just a lot easier for me to do it and I don't have to get one on my screen, but it's fine. We make do. Ethan is going to be starting from P7. Someone spun on the formation lap. That is certainly less than ideal there. So you can always trust on Aaron. He always knows. Always trust on him. See, I'm doing triple science. I should do this stuff, but I just don't. I haven't done a lot of physics just yet. But pretty much what I said, right? Same thing, but nonetheless, series is on. We've got the Alfa Romeo leading around the final couple of corners to line himself onto the grid for what is, I believe, one of the longest runs to a braking zone on the calendar. Not technically the longest run to turn 1. Technically, the longest run to turn 1 is Spain, and the run to turn 1 here is probably about 10 meters. But do make sure to click the like button ahead of tonight's race. Was it Ethan that spun under the... No, was it? Absolute twat. Absolute pillow. You can throw any British insult you like, but we... The 5 red lights. The green flag has been shown. Everyone's up. If we get some lights illuminating our screens, and we go ahead to 5 red lights. We're held for quite a while. We're underway in racing though for the reverse grid race, and the Vitario already pulling alongside. They're going to be fast into turn 1, but there goes Starry fighting for the race lead alongside Ginger Prince down and towards turn 2. As a massive bundle of cars towards the back. Everyone's slipstreaming off each other. There's the racing point of her faces looking to get up the inside of everyone, but Starry into the race lead. Side by side goes Scott with S-Man, and Scott, the championship leader, looking to get off a good start. Brilliant. Mike cutting in and out again. Hopefully that is a little bit better. I'll probably just move my leg out of the way, but here goes Scott up the inside of S-Man. Ginger Prince being a bit swamped there. Scott onto the podium around the outside. He's been tapped. The championship leader having an absolute nightmare of a round tonight. He's been tapped by S-Man or Ginger Prince. I couldn't quite see. Just trying to get up the inside and got turned into, unfortunately, Yellow Flags for the first sector. Who's managed to get away cleanly? It looks like Gremlin has been the best of the front runners, up 3 positions from his original starting place, and so is Ghost as well, making some mad moves to get himself up into towards the top 10 and towards the top in general. There's Sonic up the inside of Ginger Prince, and Ethan up into the top 4. He's going for Ghost Sonic as well. Ethan to the outside. Can he get it done? Sonic goes in very deep. He's going to get the cutback. Sonic off the track. Ethan gives him the space around the outside. He goes. He's off the track. Completing us a plain understeer off the track. Going to hang on to P4 as Ethan darts to the inside. Cut the chicane for good measure and try and stay on the back of Sonic. There we go. Much better. Brilliant. I just need a new controller, I think. But Ethan's still through turn 17, leading into 18. Starry with a great start. But is S-Man putting the pressure on? No, it's just a timing glitch. I believe, yeah, it's a timing glitch. Vardy with some good moves as well from P8 up into P6 already, looking to get P5 as well to the inside of turn 2. Up the inside, QB may go in a bit deep, claims the racing line. Yeah, Ethan has definitely got this up the top 3. Or is... No, Starry is still leading. The Australian is still leading, but probably just isn't counted on the timing screens considering Australia and Australians don't exist. But that's a topic for another day. I joke, of course Australia's real, but who's that? Is that Vardy getting himself up the inside of the Renault of QB? Yes, it is, and that's him up into P6. Very nice stuff from Vardy. And Taylor up a position, her faceless up a position, Knowing Lights up 10 positions, and on the back of Ethan, he has had an absolute amazing start to the race, and we all love Ethan, we all want him to do well. He's currently P4, he's chasing after Sonic, just a little bit too far off. He's got the DRS just about for the next lap. And there goes Vardy braking into turn 13, I believe. Ethan goes in very deep. That's going to allow Knowing Lights to have a little look to the inside, takes a tighter line. Ethan struggling with a lot of understeer. Maybe has a bit of damage around the outside. There's contact. Knowing Lights being spun round again. The guy on the inside always gets spun round. Ethan eager to hang on to that position. There's going to be yellow flags wave, and Knowing Lights going to plummet down the order, and Paus going to be right in front of him, looking to hang on. But Ghost not had the best of starts. He needs to negotiate his way through the traffic as well. He's got a long way to go to still be able to do that though, and I'm sure, no doubt in my mind, he will be able to. DRS wide open for Sonic as he looks on a charge for S-Man to the inside of turn 2. Going to be a bit far back on this particular occasion, and this is the beauty of reverse grid racing. It's so unpredictable. Nothing is ever set in stone, and nothing's ever set in stone in general in racing, but especially in these reverse grid sprint races, because you've got the likes of Starry, S-Man, Sonic, Ethan all fighting at the front while everyone else tries to fight their way through. Paus on the back of Gremlin. Gremlin maybe not having the best of runs through there. I swear I saw someone sideways, but nonetheless, looks like Ghost looking to get through Knowing Light. He picks himself up a 3-second penalty in the process of doing so. Definitely isn't ideal at all as they negotiate their way through into turn 8 and 9. Ethan with a 3-second penalty as well. Definitely going to be less than ideal. We've got a close gap at the front, and DRS, is he close? S-Man pulls to the inside, has a little look. S-Man looks to defend it. Going to think better of it. Vardy maybe on Ethan, closes the gap. Sonic very deep into turn 13. I was correct. And Paus getting himself up the inside of Gremlin, but can't hold it, can't get it stopped. Knowing Light to the outside, his way to the outside. He's going to be on the outside of this chicane, and he's going to claim that position, take the racing line, and Paus maybe can be able to use him to close the gap towards the front. Go on, Ethan, get a podium. He's 1.5 seconds off the podium. I've just dropped my phone. He's 1.5 seconds off the podium, but he's closing, and Sonic is closing on S-Man to the inside into turn 2. Can he get it done and finalise the move? There goes Vardy on Ethan as well. 2x2 Noah's Ark. Ethan going to back out of that one and think better of it against Vardy, because Vardy is just an alien when it comes to pace, and no, Ethan knows that is not his fight. Maybe he can use him to stay with him. Use Vardy, stay with him, and try and close up onto the back of the podium sitters, but there's a lot going to happening on here. Ethan's still with Vardy, still with him, still got the pace, and just needs to stay with DRS, because Vardy is closing on S-Man and will be on the podium in due time. I'm sure he's got a lot of DRS banked up. He hasn't got DRS quite yet, unfortunately, and Taylor will have DRS and ERS as we speak on QB. Pulls to the outside. Has he got the overspeed to complete the move before the corner? QB to the inside. Is he going to back out of it? Yes, he is, and thinks better of fighting that one and going to live to fight another day. And Sonic on the back of Starry. This is the fight for the race lead between the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull, the Junior and the Alpha team going at it in Sochi. Not something you often see. I think there's only been a couple of occasions where AlphaTauri have beaten Red Bull in the constructors' standings. When they had Sebastian Vettel in 2008, I believe, was certainly one of them. ERS overtake and DRS all enabled. Slipstream as well for the AlphaTauri. Starry looks to defend the inside. Sonic goes even deeper to the inside for turn 2. Can Starry get it done around the outside? Goes in very deep, does Sonic. There's a bit of contact. They're both sent very wide and off the track. Starry just about manages to hang on. They're still going to be side by side through turn 3. Who's going to have the inside for turn 4? It looks as though Sonic is going to have to concede. Looks to the inside. Going to back out of it though. And this is all helping Vardy close himself back up. And Ethan on the back of S-Man. So Ethan's still very much in the shout for this podium place, as have faced this Taylor QB. Everyone else starts closing up as well, so it could be a very long, very long DRS train here. Lap 5 of 13, approaching the halfway mark. Paus picks himself up a 3-second penalty. Sonic on the back of Starry, looking to get revenge, get himself back in front. Didn't get it stopped for turn 2 and caught Starry out, who went wide off the track and hang it on the inside. But he's going to have another chance. He's going to have overtake once again. He's going to have DRS. He's going to have slipstream. So is Vardy, though, who's looking to close up on Sonic. Is Ethan going to get past S-Man on this particular occasion as well? Hasn't got a lot of ERS in the bank. Have faced this on the back of Ethan. This is turning into a very spicy little battle as Starry does go in pretty deep through turn 13. I'm going to compromise this run through 14, 15. Doesn't quite compromise it for 16 though, so it should be all good and he can carry on towards the DRS detection point. As Hephaestus does look to get past Ethan, can't quite complete the move, and Ethan hanging on for P5, and probably in his best interest to just stay with him and try and get on the DRS of S-Man, but Vardy is a lot closer to Sonic on this occasion. Could we see some 3-wide action, both with DRS, both with ERS, both with slipstream? Who's going to get the move done? It looks as though Vardy's going to be well on with the closing speed to the inside of Sonic, and that should be a pretty plain sailing move to get it up the inside of turn 2. Very nicely done. And he's on a bid to charge after Starry, get himself onto that top step. Everyone cheering on Ethan. He's down to P7, being swamped by a lot of people, has Ethan, but P7 still a great result where he started, in fact. So he's still in a great position nonetheless. Where is Ghost? Ghost has managed to get himself up inside the top 10, knowing like side by side with Gremlin. They're so close. There's a bit of contact. He's been put both into the wall. That's going to allow Ghost to drive his way through the pair of them. Is he going to get the inside? No, I'm going to have to cut to the front because Vardy has managed to set up a nice little cutback on Starry, send him wide through turn 9 and into 10. And Vardy got a nice cutback. He's got the launch. It's going to be the outside for the run into the corner, but it's going to be the inside for the actual corner itself. Sonic looking to get involved as well. He's already past Starry, who's just conceded that position, thought better of it, and he's been completely mugged there and down into P3. And Sonic up into P2, still on the back of Vardy. Could we see him be challenged into turn 1 and 2? We'll have to wait and see how that one pans out. But Taylor still on the back of Hephaestus. The 2 racing points looking very good. That is Sonic getting past Vardy. I didn't quite catch it what happened, but maybe Vardy let him through or what. Sonic just had a good run, but Vardy letting him through. Going to have the DRS. Perhaps that's what his thinking was, to have the DRS, have the overtake and get himself back in front before turn 2, because otherwise he'd be challenged by Sonic to the inside. He's got a bundle of overspeed, 207, about 10 miles an hour of overspeed, which is humongous in the likes of motorsport. That is a crazy amount of overspeed, and Hephaestus getting himself up the inside of Taylor. Taylor not going to give it up though. Could still get up. There's a lot of people into the pits. So Ethan, Gremlin, Knowing and Wayne all into the pits on this lap. Power's going to cruise past all 4 of them. And Sonic on the back of Vardy. This is a very good fight for the race lead. I do want to watch some fights amongst the midfield, but this is a fight for the race lead. You just cannot get much better than it. But it maybe is going to be ending pretty soon as Vardy sails off into the distance, clear of any DRS threat and ERS threat. And now in a world of his own, this is where Vardy thrives, is on clear air and getting his head down and up in front. Taylor on the back of Hephaestus, who's on the back of his teammate S-Man. Is Hephaestus going to go to the outside of his teammate? Yes, he is. He's got a bundle of overspeed. Can he get it done? Yes, he can. Can Taylor get himself up the inside of S-Man? Maybe so late on the brakes. Can't quite convert on this particular occasion, and Hephaestus is going to drive away with his extra pace, and Taylor going to be stuck behind for the time being. Interesting to see when the top 2 maybe come in. Taylor with a big snap. That's going to allow Ghost to close up and have a run maybe into turn 17. But no, they're both going to come into the pits, think better of it, and come in. Going to have the DRS of each other. Very close is Ghost, and both picking up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which, wow, that is not something you often see from these two. Maybe Mark, I wouldn't put it past Mark, but Ghost, especially not something you often see from him, to pick up a 5-second penalty. So after maybe celebrations, the heartbreak for the man in the Williams. Davila has, I believe, pitted. Indeed he has pitted onto 2-lap fresh medium tyres. Where is he going to come out? Everyone else driving out. Where is Davila going to filter his way through? He went for a massive undercut. He's had the pace. Is that Ghost coming out now? Yes, it is. He's going to be fighting with him to the outside. Going to go for it. Going to send it. Yes, he is. Going to get driven off the track by Ghost, though, who doesn't give him an inch. Davila drives off the track to claim the position. And Ghost not going to be very happy with that, I can tell you. He's going to be wanting to get that position back as quickly as possible. Yellow flag through sector 1. What's happened there? Back, I believe maybe Tears had a bit of an off. Not entirely sure, but Starry was the first of the front runners to actually pit, so he's going to come out in a provisional P6. Should be the net race lead, or I should say the net, probably P2 or 3 in fact. Maybe with an undercut he can find his way up a couple more positions. But this is now hammer time for him. He needs to get his head down. He needs to make the most of these fresh tyres, as the race leader is into the pit lane, doesn't speed. So luckily manages to not do that. And a very long drive to the pit lane for Williams. Ted on the back of Ethan, who has already pitted. So is Ted. So this is a fight for on-track pride. And some extra points, I believe, an extra point. There is Yellow Factory Sector 3. I'm not too entirely sure what's happened. Has Scott been caught up in something, maybe? Scott not had the best of races. Was fighting for a podium early on. There goes Starry, getting himself past Hephaestus, who's come into the pits, come out of the pits, rejoined in P4, and Palfs having to swerve out of the way. So Palfs is pit as well. He's found himself up in P5. He's fighting hard with the McLaren of Taylor, side by side through turn 3. Go the Haas and the McLaren. Bit of contact between the two friends. Around the outside goes Sumo. Can he get it? No, he can't. And Palfs up into P6 after a great undercut. Bit of strategy there from him. To the inside, there goes Ghost with a massive send to the inside on Sumo to get himself up into P7. Not giving an inch and wanting to get his way up. And there goes Sumo around the outside. Leaves him to dry. Still going to be side by side with Ghost. Great bit of racing between the two. Ghost going to set up the cutback, take the tight line on the exit, get the drive. He's going to be to the outside. He's going to have DRS. He's going to set up a cutback, send him in deep, brake later. And Palf's probably going to be looking to have a run at Taylor. Maybe he's looking to have a run at Hephaestus. This is all the fight for the podium places. So these guys really do need to make sure they capitalise on not hard to lose that. And Starry goes in very deep. Hephaestus going to set up the nice double, maybe even triple cutback. Can't quite convert into the inside. And Starry having to be able to defend through 15 into 16. He's going to have the ERS deployed. He's going to go to the inside for the penultimate corner, claim that position. Around the outside goes Starry. Bit of contact between the two. He's sent wide. Still side by side as he rejoins. One of these guys is going to get DRS. Her face is probably in the worst position of the bunch. Taylor getting themselves a run on Starry as well. They're going to be side by side through turn 1. This is only for P4, but still such a crucial battle as they need to get themselves up to side by side with Ghost. 2 by 2. Noah's Ark. Ghost up the inside. He's got it so wrong. He's tapped it. He's been sent round. He's made contact with Palfs, who's been collected in it as well. He's going to be plummeting down the order. And Sumo looking to the inside on his soft tyres and getting it up into P8. Very nicely done. And Palfs trying to fight it, but it's all going to be in vain. Ghost got it all run under brakes. So desperate to get that move done and just couldn't convert at all. And I'm sure he's going to probably have to hold his hand up in blame there and just say I'm sorry for that one, because that's not a mistake you often see from Ghost in desperation, sending it up the inside and causing a bit of calamity. But it's allowed these guys for the fight for the podium to break free. Taylor looking to get past Starry. Needs to get it done soon so he doesn't lose Hephaestus too much. We've seen Taylor with some great pace recently since his debut last week in the Sunday night sprints. Overtake open. DRS open to the outside. He's got the overspeed and Starry going to concede that position. There goes Ghost up the inside of Davila, going to claim that into P13. But Davila with a great cutback soars back up the inside and takes the racing line through turn 14. So great stuff from Davila, to great racecraft in general just to keep that position. So very nicely done from the man in the Haas, who's on a bid to chase after Starry, as Taylor did manage to get past, and he's in the DRS of Hephaestus, looking to get onto that podium. Hephaestus, though, interestingly, doesn't have a penalty, whereas Taylor has 5 seconds from speeding in the pit lane. Ghost is not his usual stuff today, exactly. This is not something you often see from him. Side by side goes Ghost. Maybe stop for turn 1. Yes, he does. Probably a bit too cautious, as Davila manages to leave him to dry around the outside. And Sumo really nowhere near that apex. You want to hug it like your favourite granny. He's not doing that at all. Looking more to the outside, maybe to set up to the inside. Scott, the championship leader, has retired from the session. In a similar place we saw Sebastian Vettel retire in 2019. Interesting stuff there. You don't often see Scott crashing from a race. So it looks as though it must be a weird day or something. And Pal's really struggling with that front wing damage, you can tell. But back to the front for the fight for the podium places. He's got DRS, he's got ERS, he's not deploying it, he's going to save it just that little bit extra coming into turn 13, just so he can probably preserve that little bit. There's Davila getting himself past Starry, there goes Ghost getting himself past Starry around the outside, can't quite convert because Starry completely and utterly cuts off that corner and claims the racing line for himself, and very rightly so does the Red Bull. So Ghost setting up a nice little cut back. He's got the run on Starry, pulls to the inside, not quite going to be enough, and taps the rear diffuser of that Red Bull. DRS wide open, he's got the move done before turn 2. So Starry going backwards, but still a great result. He's hanging on, he's not too far off the per se. Looks to the inside, and Sumo going to close up a lot under braking with the DRS and overspeed that he had. Goes Knowing and Ethan, they're still going to be side by side. And around the outside goes Ethan. He's fighting for the top 10 as you jinxed it, Paul. Can he send it to the inside again for turn 4 or 5? No. Anything better of it. And the McLaren of Knowing Light, with some great pace that we've seen from him, managing to get himself up. Once again, and Sumo setting up an astonishing cutback. He's really slingshot off that corner to get himself up the inside, but Starry up the around the outside, I should say. And Taylor side by side with Hephaestus. This is the side. Hephaestus gives him the room. He's going to have the drag reduction, the rear wing flap opening to reduce that downforce, to reduce that drag, to give him the 20k overspeed. He needs to pull to the outside and get the move done for P3. Is Hephaestus going to fight it to the inside? Breaks as late as he can, but Taylor is unstoppable. Bit of a lock up from the pair of them, and Taylor claiming that position for his own and up into the top 3, and going to hopefully be taking a sip of champagne at the end or onto the penultimate lap of the race. Time really has flown, and we're on to the penultimate lap, soon to be the final lap as Vardy crosses the line. Final lap, final 18 corners of the race as the two Red Bulls go side by side. Starry going to be conceding that position to his teammate, backing up. Race it like you stole it, exact. Go as quick as you can, it isn't yours, just drive it and drive as fast as you possibly can. He's dropped down to P14 in just a mere lap or so, Knowing Light getting up the inside of Starry. So Starry, if he can hang on maybe for the top 10 and hope, bit of contact between the two. Around the outside goes Starry on Knowing Light, hanging on for dear life. Davila and Ghost having a bit of a tussle. There's Ghost up into P5. He's got a penalty though, whereas Davila doesn't, so he's going to have the advantage on this particular occasion. He's got, what is it now, probably about 11-12 corners left to go to negotiate, as so is Vardy up in front. Let's have a quick look at the penalties. 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, none. Ghost with 8, so he's going to be plummeting down the order with his 5 seconds being in the pit lane penalty. Probably more just a race surprise to see what could have been had he not sped. Ghost looking desperate to the inside, sends it, bit of contact through turn 14. But Vardy is going to be your race winner. So we've seen a Williams win, we've seen another Williams win, we've seen another AlphaTauri on the podium in Sonic. Hephaestus came in his first podium as well. Davila in P4, Taylor 5th, Sumo 6th, and Ghost down into P7. Still a good result. But what an incredible race that was. 13 laps of the Sochi Autodrome. But once again, we see the three drivers sharing the champagne, and there is a Williams and it is an AlphaTauri, but a Racing Point on the podium finally in tonight's race. Started P11, Invaldi starting P8. Sonic, probably the only one we thought was, you know, good shout of a podium. Up on the podium in P2, Davila P4, Taylor P5, a good couple of results for him. He had some good pace. Sumo P6, goes to P7, not being his usual self, but from P19 certainly cannot. Ted P8, House P9, and Gremlin P10 from P17, still 7 places in a top 10 finish, cannot complain, knowing like P11, Starry P12, Tier P13, QB 14th, Ethan 15th, S-Man 16th, Ginger Prince 17th, Bluey 18th, Wayne 19th, and Scott, the lone retiree, the championship, or the ex-championship leader, down in P20, not being around for him. But still, you win some, you lose some, you learn more from losing than you do from winning, so hopefully he can buckle up and hopefully have a better string of results for next week. Very incredible races. Sorry about that, I don't know why my volume was on. But nonetheless, two very... Must have hooked the caravan back on in the pits. Yeah, he was done doing there. Just hooked it back on after the pit stop. He was doing so well. Nonetheless, you win some, you lose some. Ethan, I'm sure he'll get there one day. And I will certainly be there to see it happen. Do not want to miss the day Ethan steps on the podium and takes a sip of champagne. Because I'm sure he would definitely go out and buy some real champagne and do a shoey. That I just wouldn't put it past Ethan. Definitely something he would do. But nonetheless, that has been two great rounds. 2 great races and 1 great round of Singapore and Russia. I've been Zach Sweeney. I've taken you through the action. I hope you have enjoyed. And one last massive thank you to the sponsor of this. If you want to go check him out on Instagram, it is just TC_focus. He does some great car photography. But until next time, guys, I'll catch you next time. Bye.